Good morning, and welcome back to another weekly edition of Rise and Shine Yoga. I'm Paul, this is Stephanie,
Good morning.
and we're from Oxford Yoga Studio in downtown Oxford. And as we begin every yoga practice, I want you to sit up tall at the front of your mat. You can have your legs crossed or you can have your legs extended. And start to breathe a couple deep breaths just to calm the mind as we settle in for our practice this morning. And as always, before we start, I'd like you to make an intention. And I want you to look at this intention as a dedication for your practice today. So your intention can be for yourself, for a friend, for a family member, for anybody. So make that intention now. And as we go along in this practice, if at any time during the practice or the poses you find that your body's not cooperating or you're struggling, come back to this intention, come back to the dedication of why you're doing your practice this morning. And now I want you to deepen your breath, deepen it to what we call yoga breath or Ujjayi breath. A deep inhale through the nose, and an exhale through the nose. And as you exhale, you want to make the sound in the back of your throat like you're fogging a mirror, so kind of like a ha sound. So take a couple deep inhales and exhales. Inhales and exhales. And this breath, along with your intention, I want you to use as a guide throughout your practice this morning. And again, if you find that you're struggling with any of the poses or your breath becomes shallow or labored, come back to this breath, start to get it back under control and get it into deep, strong breath. So from here, let's roll forward into tabletop. Hands in knees position. Your hands directly underneath your shoulders, your knees directly underneath your hips. And take a quick look back between your legs to make sure you cannot see your toes. If you do, just bring them back behind your knees. Have the hands spread, your fingers spread very wide. So now I want you to inhale, drop the belly, lift the chest. Exhale, round the back like a cat. Inhale, drop the belly, lift the head. And exhale, round the back. Inhale, drop the belly, lift the head. And exhale, round the back. We'll take that 2 more times. Inhale, drop the belly, lift the head. And exhale, round the back. 1 more time. Inhale, drop the belly, lift the head. And exhale, round the back. Coming back to a flat back. From here, I want you to bring the big toes of your feet together. Sit back on your heels and come into what we call child's pose. Your legs, your arms can be extended in front of you or by your side. Now slowly make your way back up to tabletop at the front of your mat. In child's pose, the pose we just did, it's called the comfort pose, and it's a pose that you can come to at any time during your practice this morning. If you find that your body's just not into the practice, come back to that pose, to child's pose. As I always say, yoga is not a competition. It's about doing what you need to do on your mat each and every day. So in this tabletop position, we're going to start to warm up the body a little more. So I want you to inhale and extend your left arm in front of you, thumb up. And if this feels okay, I want you to extend your right leg back, about hip level. This is a little bit of a core and balance pose. And of course, you're breathing. Now release your hand and knee to the ground. And we're going to do the other side. So inhale your right arm straight in front of you with your thumb up. And if it's available for you, lengthen your left leg back about hip height. And release both to the ground. And now we're going to do a little flow with that. So you're going to inhale your left arm in front of you, your right leg back. Now exhale, I want you to curl your left elbow to your right knee, a little bit of a crunch. Exhale forward. We'll do one more crunch, knee to elbow. And extend. Again, knee to elbow. Extend. Knee to elbow. Extend. We'll do one more time. Knee to elbow. And extend. And place your hand and your knee on the ground. And now we're going to do the other side. So inhale your right arm straight in front of you, thumb up. Extend your left leg. Take an inhale. Exhale, left knee to right elbow. Inhale, extend. Exhale, knee to elbow. And extend. Knee to elbow. And extend. Two more times. Knee to elbow. And extend. And knee to elbow. And extend. And release to the ground. And come back to child's pose. Now slowly make your way back up to table. And from here, bring your feet to the top of the mat. And slowly come up to standing. Reach and rise your arms overhead. And exhale, palms together, center of the heart. So take a quick break, take a quick breath, and in the next segment we'll start our standing poses.
Well, we're moving on up to the east side, to a deluxe apartment in the sky. Moving on up to the east side.
You're watching OCTV, Oxford Community Television, serving Oxford, Addison Township, and the village of Leonard.
welcome back for our next segment. We're going to do some standing poses. So check your foundation. I want your feet about hip distance apart. I want your hands at heart center. I want your shoulder blades back. And a good way to get your shoulder blades back is to shrug them up, back, and down. We're going to do 3 sun salutation A's and really start to warm up the body. So inhale, reach and rise your arms overhead. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, come up halfway. Your hands can come to the floor or to the shin. Exhale, bend the knees, step back to the top of a push-up. We're going to stay here a quick second. Make sure your hands are underneath your shoulder blades. Your core is engaged. Now we're going to exhale, lower down. Keep your elbows in tight. Inhale, straighten the arms, lift the chest, up dog. And exhale, uncurl the toes, lift the hips, downward facing dog. And since this is probably your first one of the morning, you can bicycle your feet back and forth. Now with this down dog, you want to lift your hips and press your heels to the floor. If your heels don't touch, don't worry about it. And a good way to check your alignment, from here, keep your hands where they are and your feet where they are. Shift into a plank. And then come back. And if you can do that without any major adjustment, you're in good alignment. At the end of your next exhale, look between your hands, bend your knees, walk, step to the front of the mat. Inhale, come up halfway. Exhale, fold forward. And inhale, reach and rise, arms overhead. Exhale, palms together, center of the heart. Right into the next one. Inhale your arms overhead. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, look up halfway. Exhale, bend the knees, step back to the top of a push-up. And slowly lower down, keep your elbows in tight. Inhale, straighten the arms, lift the chest. Up dog. Exhale, uncurl the toes. Lift the hips, downward facing dog. And we're going to stay here for 5 deep breaths. At the end of your next exhale, look between your hands, bend the knees, walk, step to the front of the mat. Inhale, come up halfway. Exhale, fold forward. And inhale, reach and rise. And then exhale, palms together, center of the heart. One more. Inhale, reach and rise your arms overhead. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, come up halfway. Exhale, bend the knees, step back to the top of a push-up, and exhale, slowly lower down. Inhale, straighten the arms, lift the chest, up dog. Exhale, uncurl the toes, lift the hips, downward facing dog. And we're staying here for 5 breaths. Your gaze in down dog should be between your legs. Your core engaged, strong breath. Then of your next exhale, look between the hands, bend the knees, walk, step to the front of the mat. Inhale, look up halfway. Exhale, fold forward. And inhale, reach and rise your arms overhead. Exhale, palms together, center of the heart. Take a quick breath. Check your foundation. We're going to go into Surya Namaskar B, or Sun Salutation B. So, for this one, bring your feet a little bit closer. They don't have to exactly touch. And again, you're standing tall, shoulder blades back. So we're going to inhale our arms overhead, and we're going to sit back into a chair. And take a quick look down. If you can see your toes, that's a good thing. If you can't, come back up a little bit. Exhale, fold forward over straight legs. Inhale, look up halfway. Exhale, bend the knees, step back to the top of a push-up. Exhale, slowly lower down. Inhale, straighten the arms, lift the chest. Up dog. Exhale, uncurl the toes. Lift the hips, down dog. From here, extend your right leg back behind you, and then step your right foot in between your hands at the front of the mat. Spin your left foot flat. Then inhale, come up. Take a quick look down. Your knee is over your ankle, not your toes. Your hips are square to the front of the mat. At the end of your next exhale, take your hands on either side of your right foot and step back to the top of a push-up. And slowly lower down. Inhale, straighten the arms, lift the chest, up dog. Exhale, uncurl the toes, lift the hips, down dog. Extend your left leg back and bring your left foot through to the front of the mat. Spin your right foot flat. And inhale, arms up. Again, check your knee is over your ankle. At the end of your next exhale, windmill the hands down on either side. Step back to the top of a push-up. Slowly lower down. Inhale, straighten the arms, lift the chest, up dog. Exhale, uncurl the toes, lift the hips, down dog. And we're going to stay here for 5 breaths. At the end of your next exhale, look between your hands, bend the knees, walk to the front of the mat. Inhale, come up halfway. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, bend the knees. Bring your arms up on either side. And exhale, palms together, center of the heart, Samastha TT. Take a few breaths here. Sun salutation A and B, if you do a few of those, you will definitely generate some heat in the morning and warm up the body. So take a quick breath, and we'll be back for our final segment in our seated poses. Welcome back to our final segment. We're going to do our seated poses. So for this first one, extend your legs straight out in front of you. Sit up tall. Take your hands and place them by your hips. You want to engage your legs. You want your gaze flat. This is called Dandasana or staff pose. And we're just going to sit like this, everything engaged. And we're going to stay here for 5 breaths. Now inhale, reach and rise your arms overhead. And exhale, fold forward. And take a bind, take your peace fingers and try to grab your big toe. If you can't do this, you can bring your hands to your shins. Inhale, come up halfway. And exhale, fold forward. You want your legs engaged. But you don't want to round your back. You want a flat back. And if you want a little bit more, pull your elbows out to the side. So inhale, lengthen, and then exhale, pull yourself forward. Release your bind, come back up. And we're going to do something that's done in Ashtanga practice called a vinyasa. It's optional. And from here what we'll do is we're going to cross our ankles, lean back a little bit, and then roll forward onto our hands, step back to the top of a push-up, lower down. Inhale, straighten the arms, lift the chest. Exhale, uncurl the toes, lift the hips, down dog. And then from down dog, walk to the front of the mat and come down to a seated position. So like I said, that's the vinyasa. They're optional. So for the next one, I want you to bend your right knee, bring it up, and then take the sole of your right foot, bring it on the inside of your left thigh, and kind of turn your torso towards your left foot. Have the toes of your left foot pointing to the sky. We're going to inhale, our arms overhead, and exhale, take a bind, either on the foot or the shin. And again, we're not rounding the back, flat back. Release your bind, come back up, bring your right knee up, extend the right leg. And now we're going to do the other side. So bend the left knee up and take the sole of your left foot on the inside of your right thigh. Toes of your right foot are pointed up. Inhale, reach and rise your arms overhead. And exhale, take a bind either on the foot or on your shin. Release your bind, slowly come back up, extend your left leg in front of you, and we're going to have the option of a vinyasa. So cross your ankles, come back a little bit, then roll forward, and step back to the top of a push-up, lower down, all the way down. Inhale, straighten the arms, lift the chest, up dog. Exhale, uncurl the toes, lift the hips, downward facing dog. From here, bend the knees, look between your hands, walk to the front of the mat, and then make your way to a seated position. Now we're going to do spinal twist. So bend your right knee, bring it up. Take your right hand, place it just behind your right hip. Inhale your left arm up. And then we're going to wrap it around our right knee, twisting to the right. Try to sit up tall here. Your gaze, if it's available, is over your right shoulder. Your left foot is engaged, toes pointed toward you. And breathe. Now come back, we'll make a little counter twist to the left, just a little bit, and come back to center. Extend your right leg straight in front of you, and now we'll do the left side. So bend your left knee, bring it up. Your left hand is just behind your left hip. Inhale, your right arm overhead, and then twist, wrapping your arm around your knee, sitting up tall, having your right foot engaged. Release, come back to center, and we're just going to take a counter pose to the right. Come back to center, extend your left leg in front of you. Bring the soles of your feet together, bound angle pose. Inhale and fold forward. Keep the back flat. Slowly come back up. Make your way to the front of your mat in a seated position. And as we close our practice with the word namaste, it's a thanking of me, the teacher, to you who watch us every week. So take a breath, close your eyes, and we will see you next week for another edition of Rise and Shine Yoga. Thank you. I bow to the light that is within each of you. Thank you so much, guys, for watching. Namaste.
Namaste.